Hi, everyone. Welcome to Alternavita. How are you? Thank you for joining me today. I thought I would veer off the beaten path a little bit here and address this issue head on, which is regarding my letter from the FDA in 2020. As I stated last week or recently, I'm still very surprised to be finding myself on Google page one almost 5 years later. So rather than face another year of infamy at a cost to my more important publications, I feel it's time to address the issue in the public arena as to how and why I was cited by the FDA. Now, I could go on and on about virology in particular, but I won't. I'll leave that to the experts and future technology, um, and the day for when we might actually see a viral particle as opposed to describing it as Anthony Fauci does, a phenomena. Okay. So I'll leave it to the experts. And but I want you to know that right now it is classified somewhere between antimatter and dark matter regarding an actual viral particle. So, anyway, in May 2020, I received a letter from the FDA citing several claims that were loosely associated with the following title of one of my blog posts. And it was 4 proven ways to protect yourself against coronavirus. In the blog post, aside from general health, the only specifically proven claim was a recommendation for the use of an ozonator for sanitation purposes. I repeatedly list the importance of sanitation for health, citing the WHO. So rather than risk further action against my blog and person, I removed the post as it wasn't that important to me to prove a point at that time over a flash in the pan news item. I was an Amazon associate at that time, and over a period of 20 years approximately, I made maybe $10,000. But I have to say, this was across several websites, some of them having nothing to do with health. So I could not cite the actual monetary amount I made from Alternavita in particular because I don't really know. So the ozonator was not an associate link, but the FDA used the title and the ozone claim to make a false association throughout the posts. Regarding ozone and viruses, the claim that I most likely made was generic, and the source was from the industry, that ozone does indeed remove 99% of viruses, among other contaminants. So there was no specific claim regarding CV-19, but that will be included in my source notes in this blog post. So I'm going to read for you the what was included in the FDA letter. Since I do not have the post, I removed it. I trashed it. I don't know if I have a download of it anywhere. I don't think I do. Otherwise, I would be bringing the post itself up. to prove this point. But at that particular time, since they were threatening further action, I just felt it was best to remove the post as it wasn't that important to me. So the first claim was against grapefruit seed extract. If you want a little extra daily protection, GSE is a safe antibiotic. And then I had an associate link. I use the term antibiotic because the manufacturer describes the product as a nutribiotic. And I know full well that the primary benefit of GSE is its superior effectiveness as an antioxidant. And coming in second would be its use as an antifungal against Candida. It is an effective bactericide against a large number of bacteria, and you can find those sources on Nutribiotic website as well as from a variety of doctors who have written about it. I don't believe there was a statement claiming it was an antiviral. But if there was, it was most likely taken from the Nutribiotic site itself. The second claim was colostrum, and the statement was colostrum is nature's way of protection against any immune threat. Okay, now I could cite dozens of sources regarding colostrum and viruses in particular, but the actual statement itself was generic. So I don't really feel the need to do that here. I'm sure they're all over my website and possibly in my book. And the third one was cod liver oil. And the statement was clearance of cellular debris is also important after any viral infection. Antioxidants help in this regard. So again, it's a generic statement with no actual claim regarding CV19, and my site is largely focused on autophagy and its relevance. So anything that stimulates the clearance of cellular debris and intracellular debris is beneficial. Otherwise, you'd accumulate tons of cellular debris in a lifetime. And that could have a very bad effect on your overall health. So in conclusion, I'm going to direct you to an actual published paper from the NIH regarding CV19 and ozone in particular. As if memory serves, that was the only actual direct association in the blog post that differentiated from general health advice that any person might take in winter to ensure their best chances of remaining quote unquote virus free. I will also post a link to the actual letter from the FDA so you can make your own determination. At this point, I feel I have no alternative other than a public refutation, as it appears this letter will continue to brand my site based on some very loose and baseless charges. And in a way that's similar to dynamic silence. And I basically ignored this for the last 5 years, thinking it would just go away on its own. But it would not be hard for anyone to find out my real name and then tie Alternavita to my real profession and then have it affect that too, as well as my other books, my other products, my livelihood, which, trust me, this is not my livelihood. But judging by the trajectory And just the fact that this is associated with me as a person who has a real life, I have noted that it has had a huge effect on the sales of Immune for Life and other things in particular. So I really, as I said, I really don't appreciate it. And if they would like a public debate, whether it's with the FDA or Anthony Fauci or the names cited in this particular letter, who has since left this department, I'd be happy to debate them any day, anytime, anywhere about what I wrote and what I said. And I'll stand by that as well. So, regarding ozone in particular, again, there was no associate link to an ozonator, and that was most likely the claim I made in regards to any virus. Okay, although I'm not sure, because I'm just going on memory here, but the only other virus in particular I might have cited was regarding colostrum and the flu, and that wouldn't have even been against the flu. It would have been colostrum's effectiveness against versus the flu vaccine. So let me just read this here. This surprisingly, the date on it is 2019, which is a little surprising. Coronavirus infectious disease 2019. It was shown that after 30 seconds of in vitro direct exposure to ozone, 99% of the viruses are inactivated. Although this evidence is of considerable importance outside of the laboratory models, there are various parameters that influence the time required to obtain the same result. First of all, it was seen that the inactivation of 99% of viruses by ozonation requires its spread at concentrations higher than those necessary for bacteria. A longer exposure time, about 30 minutes, is necessary for the treatment of surfaces of the environment and surface viruses, while for any viral particles suspended in the air, 8 to 10 minutes are enough to remove 99.9% of them. Viruses in water are more susceptible to ozone inactivation and short contact time. About 1 minute or a little more are sufficient to inactivate 99% of them. Virus inactivation is complicated by two factors. The first is the presence or not of an envelope. In fact, it seems that enveloped viruses are more sensitive to ozone than naked viruses. And, okay, I'm not going to comment on that. I'll refrain. The second factor is that highly related viruses may exhibit different response kinetics to the same biocide due to the variation of structural or genomic components. However, ozone has been shown to cause the inactivation of viruses by affecting various molecular targets. Ozone was shown to be highly effective to inactivate the SARS virus. In fact, it was shown, and it shows an inactivation rate not lesser than 99%. The novel SARS-CoV-2, an envelope virus like other coronaviruses, shows 80% of genome sequence similarity to SARS-CoV. Disinfection and sanitation methods include differences between ozone, UV light, and chemical disinfectants. The figure shows the main differences between ozone and UV light sanitation. Effective ozone parameters on the microorganisms. The figure shows that the ozone concentration, parts per million, and time exposure necessary to reduce the microbial load by 99%. So that was the source I was likely citing and remembering, because that was known in the industry for a very long time, that ozone could effectively inactivate 99% of viruses, regardless of type. Okay, so there you have it. That's generally how I proceed, is when someone makes a statement, I either use, in all humility, I'm just a layperson who happens to be very good at research, and I use only their own words for or against them. I am not a researcher. I do not have a lab. I do not have a team. I do not have any personal way to make any claim. So I would naturally cite a source. In my book, I do not cite sources the traditional way, because you can't just click on the link and look up the source. So I have them as a list. And you can type in the list if you care to look at any source, or you can come to my blog, Alternavita, and you can actually click on the link in my library and read the source that is in my book. So that's how I chose to do it. And that was just for ease of use for any reader who wanted to check out the source in an easy and quick way. And the majority of things in my book are not in my book unless I had at least 3 sources. And 3 is a very minimal number of sources that I could actually show for the majority of things in my book. I could cite many, many more sources than 3. So, okay, this is just how I am choosing to stand up for myself and clear my name, and hope that even if readers and viewers happen to find me on Google page 1, they will take that with a grain of salt and know that there is definitely another side to this story. Chances are excellent that I will never be able to have an Amazon associate account ever again. And I'll just have to live with that, I guess. I don't know. I've never seen any way to refute such a claim and have that restored by Amazon. But just know that there is another side to this story. And that's basically what I would like you to take home, and to give me the benefit of a doubt as I gave them the benefit of a doubt for the last 5 years. Okay? All right. So thanks everyone for your time. I appreciate it. And I will probably pin this somewhere on my blog, and hopefully people will give me the benefit of a doubt. And next time we'll be back to better topics that will actually be a benefit to you. So thanks again to everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.